Hello! So I thought that with the BMHA coming up and girls and women in sports day, that this would be like the perfect time to do a Q&A, because I always get questions in my DMs from people asking about sports media and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a good time to answer them, because I don't always have time to like send people my extended responses. So these are all the questions I got from my poll on Instagram the other day. Someone asked, what do you major in? I am at Boston University and I'm in this College of Communications, and I major in mass communications, and my focus is in advertising. How did you first get into sports media without much experience? I first got into sports media when I was a senior in high school. My high school did a program, your fourth quarter you can do an internship instead of going to classes. So I did it through my town's TV station, and I got to film hockey games for our school's hockey team, and I got to do their end of the year banquet video. So that was like the first sports media thing I ever did. And then I also did cheerleading hype videos and like tryout promo videos for all-star cheering teams like East Liberty Elite. So that was like the first thing that I did. And then the rest of it really was just me like making videos for fun on my own. And that's like what led me to get my first internship, was just the company seeing like the potential I had with the videos that I could edit, and they're like, we can apply this to sports too. Someone said, when did you first start interning? Did you have any opportunities in high school? So that's kind of the same thing. My first internship was with Burlington Cable Access Television, and then I did an internship that summer with a financial business, and with them I did a company culture video, and that kind of showed the CEO something he had never seen before. I showed him the video and he was like, we have the tools to do this in our business, like we don't need to hire people to do commercials for us. And I was like, no, like this is the media department, this is what they do. And we showed him that culture video, which was really cool. So that was like the first professional video I ever did. And then after that internship, what was my first sports internship? So that was my first one going into college. And then at my first year at BU, I was the manager of the men's ice hockey team here. And that job just kind of came about because I'm in a hockey family. I've played hockey for 8 years. My dad played at BC, my brother played at Harvard, so we already knew the staff at BU. So I had known one of the coaches and reached out and told him I was coming to BU and asked if there was any opportunity for me to work with the hockey team. And he said that the manager position was actually opening up, which was perfect timing. So they were interning students for that. So I went and interviewed for that and got that job. So that was really fun. And that was like my first sports media job, was managing the Boston University men's ice hockey team, which is an incredible first job to have in the industry. It's such a prestigious team and program, so I was so lucky that I got that for basically my first sports media job. And then someone else just asked what internships you've done. So that was during the whole school year. And then while I was doing that and I was managing the team, and managing is just consists of like, I organize all the ticket sales, all of the team meals and snacks. When we would travel, it would just be coordinating with the bus companies, when we're going where, when the team needs to be where. Basically just like making sure the equipment's where it needs to be. I'd go to all the practices, lay out the practice plan for the coaches, get all the equipment ready. So it was a lot of sports management. And then while I was there, in addition to all the manager duties, I just like took it upon myself to start videotaping their practices and some of their games that I could do. I couldn't do a lot during the games just because I had to do stats for the team and run them down to the locker room during the games. But when I got the chance to, I'd film there. I had a coworker who would film a lot too, and then I'd just edit like pre-game hype videos for big games, just because at that time the team didn't really have a lot of hype videos like that on their social media pages. So I saw an opportunity to do something for them, and the person who's in charge of their social media loved it because they hadn't seen anything like that before. So I got to just do all of those. So that was all just kind of me volunteering to do it and wanting to do it, and then from wanting to do it, it actually is like an expectation now 1 year later that like we have a hype video for all their big games. We have a video before the season, we have recaps after the season. That all started like within the last 365 days. It didn't even occur before I got to the school. So that's really cool that I was able to help kind of bring that to Boston University. So yeah, and then after the hockey season ended, I began working for BU Athletics, and they basically just had me doing the same thing that I was doing for hockey media for other teams. So I got to work with men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse. I shot a softball game, and this year I'm doing the exact same thing. So now that I'll get into ringside after, but now that I'm just ringside, I don't have as many responsibilities as I did as a manager. So I'm working with BU Athletics this semester, and I'm doing videos. Right now I'm working on one for women's lacrosse, and we'll be doing men's lacrosse. Softball, same thing, just all their spring sports, some basketball. So it's mostly just filming, going to practice, doing interviews with coaches, players. I edit them together, and then they'll either be season preview videos, hype videos that will go on Instagram, or they'll be recaps of big games. So those are pretty much the three that I do with BU Athletics. And then once BU Athletics ended last summer, I interned for NBC Sports Boston. So that was really cool because that was my first internship in the sports media world, not related to school. So NBC Sports Boston, I got to go to Bruins games, Red Sox games. I would log the games when I was in the studio, which just means I'd watch the games, and if there was a big play, a big hit, a goal, a penalty, power play, I would just put it in the system so that when our editors went to put together a melt of the game after for the live show, they could just go to where I logged it and said, hey, this is important, this is important, this is important. So that was really cool. And then I got to go to the games, and when I was at the games, I would basically just assist our camera crew just with interviews. So I'd go to press conferences before the game, Red Sox with Alex Cora, Bruins I did post-game with Bruce Cassidy, and then we'd do individual interviews in the locker room with players after the game. So that was really cool. I got to be a part of interviews with Mookie Betts, you know, Price, Sale, Bruins. It was like all the Bruins, basically like the whole team with all the games I went to. But yeah, so those are all in the locker room after the game. Those ones that you can find anywhere on social media. It's like there's a million microphones in their face. I would hold the mic for those and throw in a couple questions. So that was pretty much it with NBC Sports Boston. It was mostly just like logging, and I would log, if I wasn't at the game, I would log the press conferences, what they said. So everybody, I'd do the question and then basically summarize what they said in response to the question. And then that's how the night show producers would pick which questions to use. So then the summer ended with NBC Sports Boston, and I started school up again. And I did an internship with Boston 25 Sports, and that was so fun. So my role with Boston 25 Sports, my biggest responsibility was going to the high school football games on Friday night. Boston 25 does a high school football game, Massachusetts high school football game day once a week, every single week. They put polls on their Twitter and fans can vote on which game they want us to go to, and then whichever game wins, that's the one we go to. So my responsibility was to go with our camera guy, and I would interview the coach before the game, a couple key players before the game, coach of visiting team before the game, same thing, players, get the stats, get the team rosters, and then throughout the game, so our anchors weren't at the game while it was going on, so throughout the game I'd be texting our anchors and our producers updates during the game so they could follow along and write the script for the show, and they would have live hits during the game, and then they would have a recap, a 5-minute recap of the game right when the game ended at 11 p.m. So they usually start at 7 and then we had it ready to go at 11, which was cool. So I really liked working for Boston 25 just because I knew what I was doing was so helpful to them. Every single time after the game, the producer would text me and say, thank you so much for your help. Butch Stearns, Tom Lyon would always thank me on air for my help. So I loved working for them. They just taught me so much in addition to the camera guys that I traveled with. They would have me do stand-ups on the camera to get experience in front of the camera. And during the games, they'd be like, hey, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? And just always kept me on my toes. So it was a very good experience for me just to learn in the professional world. So in addition to the Massachusetts high school football games, they also sent me to the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Patriots. So it was such a good mix, and I loved being able to go to a Patriots game one weekend, and then that Friday I'd be going to Massachusetts high school football, because it's just so cool to see like the level that you start at and then the level that it can transition to. So I loved that internship. It was such a good experience. I felt like what I was doing was actually helping them, which I think is really important when looking for an internship. You want to make sure it's mutually beneficial and not that like they're just doing you a favor by hiring you. So in addition to doing that first semester this year, I also got hired for Boston University's Ringside Reporter. So I'm still currently doing that right now. The season's still going on. Playoffs start in about a month, or the regular season ends in about a month. But basically for Ringside Reporting, I'm at every home game, and I will interview a player in warm-ups. After the first period, grab a player and a coach. After the second period, grab a player and a coach, same thing. And people always ask me this, do you write your own questions or does someone write them for you? I write all my own questions. I pick the players that I want to do. The coaches are set in stone. I do the same 2 coaches every single time, every game, but the players are completely up to me. The questions are completely up to me. I sit in the media box during the game and I just digest how the game's going, what I think about it, what the team has looked like in past games, what they were expecting tonight, and I just come up with a good storyline on my own, and that's how I kind of shape the questions that I want to ask certain players. It's stressful because I sit at the top of Agganis Arena, and if you haven't been to Agganis Arena, it's like a really big hockey arena for college hockey. So I have to run down, and I do the interviews right next to their locker room. So I have to run down with like 5 minutes left in the period so I could have my player and my questions all lined up ready to go, and when I'm running down, someone scores. And I have to completely change who I want to talk to, when I want to ask them. The game changes, so I have to adjust with it. So sometimes I'm literally running down to the tunnel and I have to check our Twitter to see who scored a goal because I missed it. So it can be very stressful, but it is my favorite job I've ever done in my entire life. I love it so much. It's so much fun. I just love being on camera. I love being ringside, and it's just like this team is such a good group of guys. They're some of my best friends, and it's just so much fun getting to work for them. And they always tell me like they love that I'm the ringside reporter because they feel so comfortable with me, and vice versa, where this is my first on-camera job that I've done. It makes me feel so comfortable that I'm talking to them. A lot of people asked what software I use to edit videos. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I've always used it. I started with iMovie and then I just like taught myself Adobe Premiere. If you just YouTube beginner videos of how to start and then get more advanced as you go, you'll learn it. That's exactly how I learned it. And then you just like teach yourself new tricks as you go. Like you'll learn certain styles you like, certain editing clips that you like, the color lighting you like, all that kind of stuff. So you'll learn as you go. Tips for how to get started. I always just say, if your end goal is to be on camera, you want to be more diverse than just that. And I think that's helped me get a lot of my jobs, is that I can shoot and edit on my own in addition to being on camera. So many people can be on camera and ask questions and do interviews, but people that can go back and edit their interviews and put the highlight clips together themselves, it's so much more impressive. You literally knock out another person's job by being able to do both. So I would definitely say, literally, like, go anywhere, go with your friends. You don't even need a good camera. Just take your phone and use iMovie. It's literally a free app in the store. Go, just edit on it, and like literally just film you and your friends having fun. That's how I started out. I know my first video ever was me and my friends at a color run, and I just put it to like the song Roses by the Chainsmokers, and that was like, all my friends were like, this is the coolest video ever, like all this stuff. And I just had so much fun doing it. And then I just made like fun summer videos, and then it transitioned into, I like doing it with sports. So I would just say, like, just start shooting stuff. You can even do it like this, like I'm doing now. Get something up on YouTube, and it gets you on camera experience. It gets you used to talking to a camera. And like, there's so much accessibility to be able to start your own portfolio completely on your own without any experience now. So take advantage of that 100%. Someone asked the coolest thing you've done. Something really cool that I just did was I got interviewed for the first time by the station that I first interned with. So that was really fun to go back to the studio and see everybody. And they were just so happy with how far I've come in such a short amount of time. So it was fun to be on like the interview side of things instead of being the interviewer. So that was really cool. That's a special that's coming out in, it's supposed to be late February or March, but I'll post it when it's out. I'm not sure when they're airing it, but it was really fun to just talk about my experiences and stuff. Who is the most famous person you've interviewed? I don't know, just because to me, I'm like, a professional athlete is a professional athlete, but probably for Boston people, like Julian Edelman and Tom Brady, being at Tom Brady's press conference, Bill Belichick's press conference, and interviewing Julian Edelman was so cool. But yeah, to me, like all the like NHL players, NFL players, MLB players that I've gotten to do, like they're all kind of equal to me, but I feel like popularity wise, those are probably the coolest ones. What was also really fun for me was getting to work with Camille Kostek last year when she was doing her college tour about body confidence and confidence for women, and she was at Providence College. So I got to go and make a fun video for her. So that was really cool. It was really cool getting to meet her in person, just only knowing her from social media, and then getting to meet her, and she's just such a great person. So that was so fun. Two Friends also is they're pretty well-known artists that I got to film for on a boat cruise they did this summer, so that was fun. What do you have upcoming? Oh, I have the Women's Beam Hot Championships I'm gonna be ringside for this Tuesday. I'm so excited to be doing the championship game. I think that's so cool, and it's even cooler that BU's women's team is in the championship. So fingers crossed they win it, because that would be so much fun if they win it, and they deserve it. They're so hardworking. They're such a good group of girls. What do you do for Barstool? So for Barstool, they have a Viceroy College program, and that basically is everybody who runs the Barstool College accounts and Barstool University accounts. So basically I just co-run Barstool BU, and we have some fun videos coming up, but we're trying to do more like fun original content videos instead of just reposting funny stuff on campus, which is obviously a lot of what Barstool is, but we're trying to expand it and broaden it and try to add more personality to it. So that's what I do for Barstool. It's so fun. My supervisors are amazing. They all work in Barstool HQ. Someone from one future journalist to the next, I want your ringside reporting job. It's so funny. Go get it, girl. Don't kick me out of it, but if you want it when I'm gone, it's yours. What was the funniest thing that's happened to you on the job? Oh, in general, like, the BU hockey team is just funny when I'm working. Like, whenever I do my pre-game interview, I'm on the bench, so the boys are all warming up and skating around, and they'll like, I don't think they're trying to mess me up, but they might be, but I think they're trying to mess their teammates up, and they'll like take water bottles and squirt water bottles at them, and they'll like throw pucks at them, and they'll like skate behind making funny faces and stuff. So that's always funny when they do that. Someone said, how did you get your start in sports broadcasting? It's my dream job, and I'm wondering what steps you took. Any advice to help me propel forward? Same thing, just like do everything you can. You're gonna have to start small and put in the dirty work. Like, I've already had 8 internships and I'm only 20 years old, so you really gotta just be willing to work hard and like not get paid for a while, but it'll be worth it. Once you finally nail that first job, it will be so worth it. And anytime you get to go, like, even when I would go to the Red Sox games and the Bruins games and I wasn't reporting, I would still ask my cameraman, hey, can we film a stand-up? And I would go and pretend that I was reporting, so I have that for my on-camera reel. Because no one knows if you're actually reporting or not, but it'll still get you experience. You'll learn what you can improve on just from watching those. So those are so helpful to do. So that's just what I would say. And networking is huge in the sports media industry. You definitely just want to meet as many people as you can, build good relationships with them, and then keep those relationships. Like, I still talk to people I interned with way in the beginning, my coworkers. So you definitely need to do that, because it's so funny, like the full circles you have coming back around. Can I interview via phone for my journalism class? Yes. How do you prepare for a game? Oh, this is a good one. So definitely, to get ready for a game, you want to know what happened the last game, because I always start my pregame interview with something about the last game, or if they've already played that team, know what happened the last time they played that team. Those are definitely huge. And then you just want to know like which players are sticking out, if it's the same goalie, if they're switching goalies, if there are any injury reports, returning players from injuries, just stuff like that. You need to pre-prepare yourself before you get to the game and already know so much that you can talk about, because you need to know that after the first period, if no one scores, you have to have something to say and something to talk about. Like, if nothing happens in the first period and there's no goals for, no goals against, no penalties, no power plays, you need to have something to talk about. So usually relying on other times that the teams have met, if they've met already this season, that's a really, really good key way to get ready for games. What is your dream job? This is a good one. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't know a year ago today that I was gonna have this job, and I love it. So it's hard to say. I'm not even interested in moving on in any way. I love that I'm reporting for my school, my favorite team, such a great group of people that I'm so close and connected with, both players and staff. So right now I can honestly say like this is my dream job right now, but who knows what the future holds. I mean, maybe it's sports, maybe it's not, but right now I'm really loving what I'm doing. Someone asked where I got my shirt in this Instagram story that I posted. I don't know if you can tell. It's actually a custom jacket. My boss, when I was the manager, me and her were the only girls that worked. We were like the only girls on staff for the team. and the boys would always get so much gear and so much apparel, and it was always like too big for us and stuff. So she is the coolest, and she got us like all women's clothes, because when we're traveling with the team, it's kind of like an unwritten rule to wear BU apparel, so that when we're like at practices at away rinks, they're like, employees aren't like, who are these two random girls just bopping around, which it shouldn't be like that, but it is. So it's kind of an unwritten rule, just like wear team apparel. So she got us like 8 custom women's BU hockey sweatshirts, and they're really cool. Like, I still wear all them all the time, and it's so funny because when my friends go to BU games, they're always like, Kat, can I borrow one of your sweatshirts? Because I have really cute apparel. So thanks, Britt. I think that's it. So I hope I answered everyone's questions. Some of them kind of overlap, so I hope I answered them, but if I didn't, you can just message me and I'll be more than happy to answer. Happy Girls and Women in Sports Week. I hope that this gives everyone a better sense of what I do, because I know you don't get to see a lot of behind the scenes. So I hope this gave everyone a better idea of what I do, and I'm gonna start doing a lot more videos like this. So subscribe to my channel if you're interested in anything BU, sports, hockey, broadcasting, anything else related, because I'll be posting a lot more soon. So thanks.